All right, listeners, buckle up because today we are diving headfirst into the world of McLaren's newest masterpiece, the W1. And let me tell you, the hype is real.
Yeah, no doubt about that. We've been poring over articles, specs, even McLaren's own marketing materials, and they are making some seriously bold claims.
Yeah, and it's not just about the car itself, is it?
No, not at all. This goes deeper. McLaren keeps using this word, this number, one.
Right, like a lineage.
Exactly. They're drawing a direct line back to legends, to icons, like the F1 and the P1i. This isn't just a new car, it's a statement.
So it sounds like we're not just talking horsepower and 0 to 60 times here, though I'm sure we'll get to those.
Oh, we will. Don't worry about that. But you're right. This is about something bigger. It's about McLaren's philosophy, their vision for what a supercar should be.
Okay, so let's unpack that a bit. We keep hearing this one concept. McLaren calls the W1 the real supercar built on, and I'm quoting here, real supercar design principles. What does that even mean? What are those principles?
For McLaren, it all boils down to the experience, to the feeling of driving this machine. They're laser focused on four core principles, and they're not just marketing fluff. These are like the pillars of their whole approach.
All right, hit me with them.
Okay, so first up, you got to have epic power, but it's more than just raw horsepower. It's about how that power is delivered.
Smoothness, responsiveness.
Exactly. Then there's performance everywhere. This isn't a one-trick pony just built for the track. It's got to be just as exhilarating on a winding road, you know?
Right, got to be able to enjoy it wherever you are.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that ties directly into the next principle, pure driver connection. It's that feeling of being completely in sync with the car. Every input, every nuance, you feel it all.
So you're talking about feedback, that direct connection between driver and machine. I like it.
Oh, and they take it a step further with authentic theater.
Yeah.
It's about the whole sensory experience, the sights, the sounds, the way it makes you feel. It's all part of the drama.
Authentic theater. I like that. It's not just a car, it's an event.
Exactly.
Speaking of epic power, let's talk about what's under the hood. From the source material we have, the W1 boasts a hybrid powertrain that can go from 0 to 200 kilometers per hour. Are you ready for this? In a mind-blowing 5.8 seconds.
Yeah, that's seriously quick. We're not talking your everyday hybrid here. And it's all thanks to the combination of their new MHP8 engine and an electric motor, working in perfect harmony.
Okay, so we're talking serious horsepower, but also the instant torque of an electric motor. What's the story behind this new MHP8 engine?
Well, McLaren's calling it automotive art. And honestly, from what I'm seeing in the specs, they might be right.
Oh, in what way?
This thing's a beast. We're talking a V8 with both port and direct injection. It's a technical marvel.
Hold on, break that down for me a bit. I'm not an engineer. What's so special about having both types of injection?
So basically, you get the best of both worlds. Port injection gives you that smooth, refined fuel delivery at lower speeds.
Right, so it's not all rough and tumble when you're cruising around town.
Exactly. But then, when you want that burst of power, when you really put your foot down, the direct injection kicks in.
And that's where you get that incredible responsiveness, that raw power.
You got it. It's like having two engines in one.
So what's it like to actually feel that kind of power? Paint me a picture here.
Okay, so imagine this. You're behind the wheel, foot on the brake, engine rumbling like a caged animal.
I can hear it now.
And then you hit the accelerator, and it's like being shot out of a cannon. The acceleration pins you back in your seat, the scenery outside blurs, and you feel this rush, this surge of pure adrenaline.
And yet you're in complete control.
Oh, absolutely. That's the beauty of it. It's not just about brute force. The W1 gives you this incredible feeling of connection, of control, even at those insane speeds. You feel every bump in the road, every change in direction. It's exhilarating and a little bit terrifying all at the same time.
Wow. Okay, so we've talked power, but what about handling? We know this thing can go fast in a straight line, but can it handle a corner?
Oh, absolutely. And this is where things get really interesting. McLaren's gone all out with the aerodynamics on this one. They're even using some tech that seems straight out of Formula One.
Yeah, the source material mentions something about a shape-shifting design and the McLaren aerosol. I have to admit, I'm picturing something out of a sci-fi movie.
You're not far off. Remember those four core principles we were talking about? Well, this is where performance everywhere really comes into play.
Okay, so it's not just for show. This tech has a real purpose.
Oh, absolutely. It's all about pushing the boundaries of what a supercar can do, both on and off the track. We'll dive into the specifics after a quick break.
All right, let's talk about this shape-shifting tech and the aerosol because it all sounds pretty wild.
Yeah, McLaren's pulled out all the stops on this one. Picture this. The aerosol is like the car's exoskeleton. Imagine the chassis of a Formula One car, but crafted from this incredibly lightweight yet insanely strong carbon fiber.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. And the shape of this aerosol, it's not just about looking cool, right?
No, sir. It's all about aerodynamics. It's sculpted to cheat the wind, to make the air flow over and under the car with as little resistance as possible.
So it's all about reducing drag, making the car as slippery as possible through the air.
Exactly. But there's more to it than just that. Remember, performance everywhere.
Right, they want this thing to be just as at home on the track as it is on a winding mountain road.
Exactly. And that's where the shape shifting comes in. The W1 features something called an active long tail.
Now we're talking. I was wondering about that. What is this active long tail all about? It sounds serious.
It is. Essentially, it's a rear wing, but not just any rear wing. This thing can adjust its angle or even extend further out depending on the driving conditions.
Wait, so it's like the car's back end can transform on the fly.
That's exactly what it is.
Hmm.
At higher speeds, the active long tail extends, lengthening the car's overall profile. This does a couple of things. First, it increases downforce.
Okay, so it's pushing the car down onto the road for better grip, especially in corners.
Right. And it also reduces drag at the same time.
Whoa, how does it do that? I thought downforce usually comes at the expense of drag.
Normally, you'd be right, but McLaren's done some seriously clever engineering here. The active long tail works in tandem with the aerosol
Yeah.
and something called the diffuser, which is this kind of curved underbody at the back of the car to manage the airflow.
Sounds complicated.
It is, but the bottom line is it creates this area of low pressure under the car, which basically sucks the car down towards the road. They call it ground effect.
Ground effect. Sounds intense. So this is how the W1 manages to stay glued to the road, even at those crazy speeds.
You got it. And that's the beauty of all this tech. It's not just about going fast in a straight line. It's about maintaining control and agility no matter what the driving conditions. It's about performance everywhere, remember.
Right. Okay, so that's the outside of the car, but what about the inside? Because from the sources we have, it sounds like McLaren's put as much thought into the cockpit as they have into the engine and the aerodynamics.
Oh yeah, they haven't held back. They're calling the W1's interior a study in authentic theater and performance by design.
I love that phrase, authentic theater. So it's not just about luxury here.
Luxury is definitely part of it, but it's more about creating an experience. They want you to feel something the moment you step inside the W1. It all starts with those dihedral doors, the ones that swing upwards like a pair of wings.
Oh man, it's like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Exactly. And it's not just about looks either. Those doors, they actually make it easier to get in and out of the car, especially in tight spaces.
Practical and dramatic. I like it.
And then you sit down in the driver's seat and you're met with this wraparound dashboard, almost like being in a fighter jet.
Okay, now that's cool. I can see how that would make the driver feel more connected to the car.
That's exactly the idea. They want you to feel like you're one with the machine, completely in control. And speaking of connection, have you heard about this material they're using in a knit?
Yeah, I've seen that in the spec sheet. Something about a new kind of fabric. What's the deal with that?
Okay, so in a knit, it's not just some fancy cloth, all right? This stuff is cutting edge. It's this digitally knitted material that's incredibly lightweight and breathable, but also incredibly durable.
So it's perfect for a performance car, where you want to keep weight down without sacrificing comfort.
Exactly. But here's where it gets really interesting. They're not just using internet for the seats and the steering wheel, they're integrating it into the car's structure.
Wait, really? How do you even do that?
Well, it's a bit technical, but essentially they're using the internet to create these three-dimensional panels that are both structural and aesthetic. They can even embed things like speakers and ambient lighting directly into the fabric.
Whoa, so the car's interior is literally woven together.
In a way, yes. It's pretty wild stuff. It saves weight, improves acoustics, and just looks incredibly cool. It's all about innovation with McLaren. They're always pushing the envelope.
So we've got this incredible engine, cutting-edge aerodynamics, a cockpit that's like a sci-fi movie. But what's it actually like to drive this thing?
Buckle up, because we're about to get into the heart of the W1, the driving experience.
So we've covered a lot of ground here, from raw power to cutting-edge tech. But let's be honest, it all comes down to the driving experience, right? What's it actually like to be behind the wheel of the W1?
It's funny you should say that. I was just reading an article where someone described the W1 as a symphony of engineering and emotion. And that really stuck with me.
Because it's not just a machine, is it?
Exactly. It's an experience. From the moment you hit the start button, you can feel it in your bones. This car is alive.
Okay, so walk me through it. What's it like when you first get behind the wheel?
Well, you settle into this driver-focused cockpit, right? Everything's within reach, perfectly laid out.
Yeah.
And you fire up the engine. It's not just a sound, it's a roar.
Oh, I bet. That V8 combined with the electric motor.
It's something else. And then you touch the accelerator, and well, it's like nothing you've ever felt before.
The power, the responsiveness, it must be mind-blowing. But you said it's not just about brute force.
No, no, no. This is where that McLaren magic really shines through. It's the way the car responds to your every input, the way it communicates with you through the steering wheel, the pedals, even the seat.
So it's almost intuitive, like an extension of your own body.
That's a great way to put it. You become one with the car.
Yeah.
And because of all that crazy aerotech we were talking about, the aerocell, the active long tail you feel planted to the road, even at insane speeds.
Wow. It sounds like an experience that's both exhilarating and, well, maybe a little bit terrifying at the same time.
Oh, absolutely. There's a healthy dose of respect that comes with driving a car like this. But that's part of the thrill, isn't it? It's pushing the limits, testing your own boundaries.
No doubt about it. So we've talked about the W1's incredible performance, its cutting-edge tech, and that visceral driving experience.
Mm.
But there's one question we haven't answered yet.
Yeah, the big one.
Does it live up to the hype? Is the McLaren W1 really the next evolution of the supercar?
That's a tough one. I mean, on paper, it certainly ticks all the boxes.
Right, it's got the power, the tech, the looks, but is it greater than the sum of its parts?
That's the thing about truly iconic cars. They have this intangible quality, this it factor that's hard to define. You know it when you see it, when you feel it.
And with the W1?
Well, only time will tell going it. But from where I'm standing, it certainly has all the makings of a future classic.
And that's what makes this so exciting. We're witnessing the birth of a potential legend.
Exactly. And who knows? Maybe 20 years from now, we'll look back on the W1 as the car that redefined the supercar for a new generation.
That's a great point. The automotive world is changing so rapidly these days, with electric powertrains and autonomous driving on the horizon. But the W1 feels like a celebration of everything that makes driving so special. It's a reminder that at the end of the day, it's all about the connection between car and driver, that feeling of pure exhilaration.
Mhm.
And that's something that will never go out of style.
Absolutely. Well said.
Well, folks, there you have it. We've explored the McLaren W1 from top to bottom, inside and out. We've talked about its incredible performance, its groundbreaking technology, and its potential to become a true automotive icon. But as always, we want to hear from you. Do you think the W1 lives up to the hype? Head over to the comment stream below and let us know your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe for more content like these.